What's going on, guys? Thank you so much for joining today on our podcast. My name is Andy.
I'm Christina.
And this is our podcast called Journey to Millions. So if you guys have been following us for quite a while, we have dabbled into a lot of different businesses out there. We've done from Airbnbs, we've done real estate, we've done YouTube, we've done a lot of different things from flipping, buying things and reselling them. We've done a lot of things. So we decided to start a podcast on cool businesses that are out there. I want to tap into the money aspect of things. I want to talk about what got them involved with it. And if you guys have been following us, we just interviewed Trace, a 22 young man who's making $50,000 a month by fixing lawnmowers. Fixing lawnmowers, made a ton of money. So thank you so much for joining. If you guys can, please hit that subscribe button. It helps us out a lot. Also, if you guys can, leave a comment down below as to what businesses you want us to interview. I want to get into like some weird stuff, like people who like hunt rabbits in the wild in South Africa. Like I want to get into like weird businesses that are out there. I want to find out, the weird stuff. I want to find out plumbers who's got to go down into like some poop buckets and like clean for a living.
So you just mean uncommon businesses.
Uncommon / little weird bit. So today is a cool day, I would say. We have a guest called B. She is here right now. She does a lot of decluttering and organizing things, and she helps people declutter their lives.
I'm hoping she can declutter my brain as well, but we'll see. We'll see.
Not just our brains, but also our home at some point, because we are pretty clutter filled over here. So, anyways, welcome to our show.
Well, thanks for having me. Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about you, about your business. Tell us like who B is.
Yeah, so I'm B, and I own a small decluttering and organization company called Morning Project. I started it about 3 years ago.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's been a while, but still very new, I feel like. I have 2 babies, 2 kids, 13-year-old. Yeah, 13 and 5.
13 and 5. Okay. You have your hands full.
Yeah, I do. In a gap, but I thought like I would hate the gap, but I actually love it because my daughter helps so much. So it's
helps the decluttering stuff.
No, well, she does help me with like labeling and stuff like that, and actually she has been on a couple of jobs decluttering with me.
Really?
So yeah.
So I gotta ask: is your home cluttered, or are you like super meticulous at home?
I do not live a cluttered life at all.
Nice.
At all.
So everything has a place.
Everything has a home, a place,
yeah.
Yes. And if I feel like it doesn't, I mean, it's got to go.
That's something I should try.
Yeah.
That's so hard. I have a letting go problem.
Okay. Okay. Well, we'll get into that.
Okay, so you have 2 kids, right? One is the youngest is 5. You said?
Yeah.
So when they were young, I don't know about you, for me, the issue with me, and I think in our home, is the fact that there's clutter from the baby.
Yeah.
We have an 18-month-old.
Yeah.
How did you, when they were young, how did you manage kid clutter? Because kid clutter, I feel like...
They come with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. I mean, I would feel like every milestone that my children would hit is when, it had to go. Because as I'm bringing new stuff in that, serves their age purpose, I guess, the old stuff's got to go, whether I'm selling it or I'm donating it to somebody in need.
How do you make that decision? Because also one of the things that I deal with is I feel like at some point D'Angelo's going to want to play with us again in the future, so I keep it. How do you combat that mentality of, oh, one day I'm going to use it again? How do you distinguish what you're going to keep using and what you need to just get rid of?
Well, in the baby stage, kid stage, they grow so quick and they grow out of things so quickly too. So, whether it was like the jumper, well, okay, after 2 years old, is he going to fit in the jumper? No, right. And little toys that you get for them to figure things out and build blocks and stuff like that. I feel like, once my son has accomplished building blocks or things like that, and he's really good at it, okay, let's give it to another kid younger, donate it.
Okay.
So if I know that I'm going to have more, and I know that, it's a gender neutral kind of thing that I could use again, I'd probably store it in a bin.
Okay.
I'd store it in the bin and put it up, label it. What'd you do?
You're gonna be on my side. Okay, so So I don't know if you guys know this, or you probably don't know this, but Christina and I, our biggest issue, what I would say, is I tend to secretly throw things away.
Okay.
And like a lot.
Okay.
But she never notices it.
Yeah.
But if I find out, it's a problem.
But she never finds out.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, and that's the same concept with kids, right? That was the other part I was trying to get out of you was knowing when, or like, my kids would never notice.
Sure.
Like, they really wouldn't. My kid would not.
D'Angelo wouldn't notice either.
You know, like those, I mean, once it's out of sight, it's out of mind. And that's so true. So, you know, you do. I mean, most kids, when I go, or when a parent has me to clutter their kid's room or anything like that, I'm like, do you want the kid involved? Like, it's best to not. Like,
To not keep the kid?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like it's just best to not, because as a little kid, I mean, they want to keep everything.
Yeah.
You know, so.
When you deal with clients, do you deal with a lot of kids stuff, or do you deal with a lot of like moms and dads, like adults? Where do you see the clutter coming from?
I would say no, definitely the adults. It is definitely more so the adults.
I know.
Yes.
Wondering if the parents like the moms are having trouble letting go of the toys and
Yeah.
the outfits and the.
Yeah, all
They
of
took
the
their
above.
first picture in this and yeah.
Where does that come from? I grew up differently. Like I grew up, I don't like clutter. Like, I don't like
Yeah.
having excess things.
Yeah.
I haven't used it in 90 days. I want to get rid of it.
Yeah.
I like minimalistic stuff.
Yeah.
Christina.
He keeps looking over at you.
No, you don't know this, but we have these like conversations like.
This actually
Right.
is like
Yeah, this is
a
a
big
big
thing
deal.
in our marriage.
Yeah.
Oh.
It is.
So I'm on.
You're on Team
okay.
Andy's side.
Yup. Oh
You're
no,
on Team
no, I
Andy's
did not
side.
mean that,
We're both against her, and we're gonna attack her right now.
No.
We have gone into. I mean, we've
I'll
done
just come in and help. It's fine.
deal sold. But we've had this conversation, and like I don't know, like where did this come from? I think.
Oh, I mean, I think I know where it came from. I think it has something to do with how I grew up. Like my parents were like this, and therefore me and my siblings are like this.
Okay.
And also we were kind of like lower income growing up.
Yeah.
It was just my dad working $40,000 a year job with supporting a wife and 3 kids, and so. I think it came from like, well, we can't really buy much, so when we do find an item or get an item or we're gifted an item, then we hold it forever.
Yeah.
You know, pass it down through each kid because you don't know if you're gonna get that item, and before you know it, you have like a house full of way too much stuff, a garage that's too packed. But that's how it came about for us.
And that is certainly 80% of everybody's their reasoning behind keeping so much stuff. They say, you know, they grew up, the way they grew up, they really didn't have much.
Right.
And so they try to, you know, hoard everything that they get because they're, you know, they're scared of losing it. It's like losing it. Yeah.
It is, I think it does stem from a scarcity mindset.
Yeah, absolutely.
And probably habits and like, this is what they did. I'm the least affected, I should say. I'm the better of my family, but I still have the problem. I still have it. I have to fight it within myself, and it's very hard.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm going to need that someday.
Yeah. That's what we all think. We do. And I mean, even as a professional organizer, like, I even battle with some of those thoughts myself, too.
Sure.
But it's just a lot easier for me to get rid of it. I don't know.
How do you navigate a client like that, or a client like couple where one wants to hold and one doesn't?
Yeah. I deal with that all the time. I mean, I've even had a client who kicked me out halfway.
What?
Yeah.
Get your butt out of here.
Yeah, she paid me. Well, it was the husband who couldn't handle it.
Okay.
So the wife was so ready to let go, get rid of it. You know, she hired me. And then like day 2, she came down and she was like, I'm so sorry. She's like, but my husband cannot handle this. And she's like, I would still love to pay you for what we owe you. But if we could just stop. And it hurts, you know, because all I want to do is like help them feel that relief too.
Right.
And in a sense, like, did I just like maybe overwhelm him more? I'm not sure, but I mean, it's the feeling of losing.
Yes.
Of losing things,
yes.
you know, and yeah. So.
What do you suggest is the best way to break that mentality-wise?
I mean, it really depends. I mean, I really try to, you know, figure out the why behind, and then like, I mean, there's multiple ways that we can go about a situation, you know, whether it's a 6-month bin or taking a picture of it.
That helps me.
You know, yeah,
Taking
because you
pictures.
still essentially have it,
Right.
and it's a keepsake for you, but we're not holding on to it, you know,
Right.
in physical form.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
it helps.
So you said you touched on payment. So I kind of want to get into that. What does that look like for someone to like come high? Do you have tiers that you
For your
work with?
services?
Okay.
How does that work?
Yeah, so I mean, there's different methods. I mean, I typically charge, you know, based upon blocks, like 4-hour blocks.
Okay.
If I'm just decluttering, because you never really know what you're fully getting into. Sure, I can come in, I can take a look, you know, this and that, but when you have a garage filled with boxes, I don't know what's in those boxes.
Right.
I mean, if it's paperwork, that's going to take me all day, you know?
Yeah.
But if it's just like junk that we know we're decluttering and just throwing out, that'll take me 10 minutes, you know, to clear a box. Like, it just depends on what is in it.
Not in this
And
household.
so it is always, it's better to like it's just a quote, right? Like in my services. But now if it's like a kitchen pantry, right? Like by room, I do have a set price for a pantry because essentially I know what I'm getting myself into. I already know all of that, so.
How much are we talking for pantry fixes, like number-wise? Would you be able to discuss
Pantries, so a pantry to declutter, wipe out, clean, I charge $600.
Okay, for the pantry.
Yep, and that includes me coming into and, you know, putting everything together, labeling head to toe, but supplies are not included in that.
Right, we're talking about.
Yeah, so supplies are very, like, based upon my client's budget. I really try to be budget friendly because I know that my service is not just a luxury service, it's very much needed.
Sure.
And I want to help as many families as I can.
Right.
So I will always try to utilize what my client may have for supplies. Or, you know, I mean, I get clients too who are like, just take it all, I want all brand new, you know. And, yeah, so it just depends on my client's budget.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
What's been the biggest project that you've done financially wise?
I mean, I've done where like people have me, I mean, it's a garage, it's a storage room, it's a basement, you know, with 2-3 rooms, right?
Have you done like whole houses? Like they have everywhere. The fridge, the bathrooms, the office.
Yeah, all the time.
What did you bring in on the biggest job that you've done?
My biggest job, I would say about 4,000. It was like 4,500. Yeah.
And how long does that take you?
3 days.
Okay, so there.
I mean,
fast.
3 days, but it's not like an 8-hour shift. I'm in your home 4 hours at a time because I like to go block by block, obviously, so that way we're both staying, you know, on the same page with things. And, you know, I'm a single mom, so I have a balance that I have to try to work out as well.
Right.
And plus, I don't want to be in my client's hair all day either. I'm sure they don't want me there all day either. You know,
It's
4
painful
hours.
getting rid of stuff.
It is. My clients are overwhelmed. I mean, my clients stop me all the time. Like, honestly, I could go all day. Like, it is somebody who's going to have to tell me, like, hey, can we stop for the day?
Right.
And usually about that 4-hour mark, too, are they done as well.
Do you include them on helping you?
I include them in the decluttering process. If it's like a garage or a storage unit or things like that. A pantry declutter, I don't need them at all.
Right.
But I try to not utilize them as much as possible, just because, I mean, they hired me to do the job.
Yeah, right.
Do you think that, well, I guess it'll benefit you to not help them mentally, but I think this is something mental that people go through. There's like some mental attachment on clutter to make them feel safe.
Yeah.
How do you combat, like how do you teach them to not redo this act?
Yep, and that is something that I do teach every single one of my clients to do. My main goal is for you to not call me again, you know, and not because I don't want you to, but because I want you to learn how to do this so that way you can tackle your next room, you know, like, I want to save my clients time and money, and I mean, my clients mean everything. So anything that I can do to just help.
Yeah.
So I mean, it depends what I use or say, depending on their reasoning behind why they do what they do. You know, I mean, if it's someone who lost a spouse unexpectedly,
right.
you know, they have a hard time getting rid of their stuff, you know, and so it just depends.
What's been the worst home that you've done so far?
So, I mean, I can't say that like I've had any of those experiences because I don't do hoarding.
I was gonna ask.
I don't.
Oh, so you'll decline on hoarding.
I will. I am not the one that wants to go in and clean feces or you know, like things like that.
Yeah.
Like I have turned down a few jobs.
No, really?
Yes.
That's like something that I love. I would just want to go in there and just pick through their things, looking for Pokemon cards.
He would have a ball.
Reason,
He's always searching for baseball cards.
But how do you, as a business, how do you turn down? Because that's like 20, 40 grand.
I know. Well, I mean, yeah, I turn it down by just simply letting them know, like, this is just not my field. It is completely different than what I actually do.
Right.
Like, the mental that I deal with is so much more extensive when they are a hoarder. They have, like, I don't know how to say this nicely, but, like, they have issues.
Yeah.
You know, that I just am not certified in or can help them. And so I just simply let them know, like, hey, this is just out of my range here, but, like, you know, if I come across somebody who I know, you know, I would love to refer them because I do want to help them. Yeah, I feel so bad for them. But it is just out of my jurisdiction. Like, I just, no.
They almost need, like, a mental health counselor.
Yeah,
they do.
Right?
They do. I mean, police get involved.
Yeah.
I mean, things just go down, and I'm just not qualified.
How did you identify that those clients that you have turned down were hoarders?
Yeah. I mean, so there was like this one lady who she
drama. Give me the tea.
She would not stop calling me, like every 5 minutes.
Like stalkerish kind of vibes?
Yeah, and you know, she kept, and I was like super, you know, excited. I was like ready to help her, all of this stuff. And then she said to me, she said, I've had so many people come in and they just cannot help me. And, you know, and I'm thinking to myself, like, well, why is that?
Red flag.
Yeah. And so I asked her, I was like, hey, can you like send me a few photos to just so that way maybe I can like start the process before I come in and know where I'm going to start, because she was so worried if I could help her or not, you know? Wow. She's like, I've had tons of cleaning ladies come in and I've had this and I've had that. She sends me a picture of her front door.
Oh gosh, you couldn't even see the door.
Yeah, and it was just mail and newspapers and books and boxes, and I'm just like, I'm so sorry. Like,
wow.
You know.
That's hard.
But I would love to help. I feel so bad.
As a business, do you want to get to the point where you could include hoarders? Or is that something that you just have no interest in?
I just have no interest in it. I don't know why. I don't know why.
It's a big project.
It is. It's
time consuming.
It is. I'm not so much afraid of like the time. I'm just so afraid of like what I might find. Like I am like.
You're afraid of finding a dead rat.
Have you seen the show Hoarders on TV?
Yeah.
I mean, diapers full of poop.
Yeah.
Like I'm good. I am good. I don't want to put on the mask. I don't want to worry about what I'm in.
Yeah.
What I'm, you know.
Hazmat suit.
Yes, hazardous.
20-year-old diaper.
You know? Yes.
Right. The son is already graduating college.
Piled up diapers full of poop. Like I can't understand what makes someone get to that point.
Right.
I have sympathy.
Yeah.
But I just have no sympathy. If that makes sense. Like, I just don't get it. I'm like, how do you live like this? Sure. You know, I don't think I would be anything.
Correct me if I'm wrong though, it starts off small, doesn't it?
Like
it starts off, I feel like clients that you help, if they don't get mental help at some point, it eventually turns into what a hoarder would look like, correct? Is there like levels to it?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so, because like I said, like the mental in it is so different. And so the clients that I typically deal with are ones, you know, who just like get so overwhelmed, have ADD, just can't help it. And so they rather, make a room a catch-all and shut the door, out of sight, out of mind. Where these people literally don't care.
Yeah.
Like they don't care.
Yeah.
So it's hard to help someone who really doesn't care or want the help. So I don't think so. I don't think it ever goes to that point. Like typically they have 1 or 2 rooms, and the rest of their house is so clean.
Right.
I'm
glad you mentioned that, because I think in his mind he thinks it's gonna get to that. And I know for a fact it won't, because I also know a hoarder. My mom's parents' friend, she's elderly, she passed away. But where her hoarding problem did start was when she lost one of her sons. And I think, like you said, don't care. I think she literally just did not care about anything else. And her house, by the time when she really needed to be like in an assisted living facility, it was so bad she could not even get inside of her own house. She was sleeping in her car for a while until she could no longer sleep into her car, and then she was sleeping in the bushes, urinating
that is
in the
so
bushes.
sad. And see, like they get to that point, like of urinating in the bushes, like
that's
make it make sense. Yes, that's the psychological issues that I am just not qualified for. At this point.
Do you see marriages fight because of this stuff? Like, have you seen? I feel like this would be one of the things that causes a lot of divorce, is just the clutter.
I'm sure it could if you got to that hoarding part, but I definitely don't think that typically the husband gets it and understands. Although, I mean, I do have a lot of husbands who think like, well, you don't need to hire her, you could do it.
Oh gosh.
I know, and the wife is like, no, I can't. Like, I'm doing this, this, and this, you do it, so I do get that response a lot from husbands. But, I mean, I've had husbands also, they're more excited than their wife for me to come in, and like once they, like I had a client who, he saw what I did to his laundry room and he was like, okay, he's like, and now I'm going to go and I'm going to, put new shelving in here, and then I'm going to have you come back and then I'm going to have you do this one and this one. And I thought it was amazing coming from a male.
Do you notice the males are more clutter filled, or is it the females? This is where you attack.
No.
Attack me.
I actually think I just never really, I think it's both.
Yeah.
She's just being nice.
I really think it's, because like on the one hand of that client that I told you in the basement, the wife was ready, but he could not get it together. And then,
what was the clutter that this gentleman had? Like, what was he struggling with?
Oh my gosh.
Like books?
If he says baseball, if she says
he
baseball,
was a complete nerd. The most awesome stuff I've ever seen. Like the most coolest stuff I've ever seen.
So he needed to divorce the wife, really. He needed to happen at this point.
Just like you could tell this man he had multiple hobbies. He was
like what hobbies?
Like building extensive Lego stuff, but
oh cool.
So he was a collector.
Oh yeah.
So there's a
big collector, and then the puzzles and the books and the Legos and anything you can name, the baseball cards. He was just a huge collector.
Is he local?
No. I can't hook you up.
Where was he located?
Omaha, Nebraska.
Okay, so you're from Nebraska.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so let me touch on. You recently just moved here, right?
Yeah.
2 years ago?
Almost, yeah.
2 years ago. So
Time
before.
flies.
Yeah. So you started your business in Nebraska.
Yep.
Okay.
So you did the same thing over there?
Yep.
How was it going over there?
It was so good. It was so good. I was working in insurance at the time.
Okay.
And
what kind of insurance? Like life insurance?
No, P&C, property and casualty insurance. So home, auto, State Farm.
Okay.
And I worked in an office setting with 2 men. Loved it. It was a great environment for a while. And then, when I got my business idea, I thought I would do it on the side, on the weekends, to make extra money. It blew up within 3-4 months. I was telling my boss, hey, I did not expect this, so I had to leave. But then he's like, well, what if you just work remote for a couple hours for me in the morning?
Yeah. Let me talk about the financial side of things. How much were you making as working for State Farm? Yearly income?
$40,000 a year.
How quickly did you hit that $40,000 with the side hustle that you were doing?
Oh, I mean, 6 months,
Wow.
7 months. Yeah, it like blew up. Yeah,
that's wonderful.
Yeah, it was
the
amazing.
most amount of money as a single entrepreneur? Because you didn't have employees,
Yeah,
right? It was just you.
It was just me. I think I'm the only solo organizer in the world.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
How much were you making at one time? Like, what was the most amount you were making?
I was making between like 6,000 and 7,000 a month, and at the
From
time
the
it was
side
good.
Yeah.
Great.
You know, 3 years ago that was good.
Yeah.
You know, I remember like I was reaching 4, and then I was reaching 5. I was like, this is amazing. You know,
That's so
That's
awesome.
awesome.
yeah.
A lot of people are scared to start their side hustles because they're like, it's probably not going to make a lot of money, but something so simple as helping people declutter can really scale.
Yeah.
So why did you? So what happened in Omaha that made Omaha, right?
Yeah.
What made you have to leave Omaha, leave that $7,000 to $8,000 paying gig that you're doing to come down here and start over?
Honestly, like I have always wanted to build a life in Florida.
Okay.
So more St. Pete area was always my dream.
Yeah.
Florida was just my goal. And I thought like, while I'm only a year and a half in, and I felt like I could gain so much more territory down here, why not just sell everything I have and make my dream come true?
Leap of faith.
And I did. I took the biggest risk. Like this will be, like if this doesn't work out for me down here, it will be the biggest mistake I've ever made probably.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. So a lot is on the line because I sold my house. I sold everything I had in my house.
What caused you to do that?
I mean, just wanting to live out my dream. Wanting the best for my kids. Like, I mean, Omaha is very special, very family oriented. I loved Omaha, but I was not fulfilled in Omaha. Like, we're here, like, I feel so much more fulfilled. Like, there's been so many little blessings in my life since moving here, or just even habit changes and like things like that I would have never done in Omaha, you know?
Wow.
Yeah.
Was it hard to leave Omaha?
It was. I walked around my house after it was sold and I was just thinking like, what did I just do? I was crying, walking room to room, like, did I just make the biggest mistake of my life?
Yeah.
But like, what do I do? Because everything is already sold and my stuff's already down in Florida. Like, the little stuff that I did take in my car, you know?
Wow.
What did your kids think about it?
Oh, it was the first time my daughter ever told me she hated me.
Oh, that's even harder.
It was so hard. It was so hard, but I just kept telling myself like she doesn't get it.
Yeah.
This has to be like, I think one of the strongest issues that cause fighting.
Oh, I'm sure.
For a lot of relationships.
Husbands and wives, and it's hard.
But you gotta take the good with the bad, right? Like if he's a little messy, like, I mean,
I'm not a little messy.
You're a lot
are you a
messy.
lot messy?
No,
Yeah, you are.
I'm not messy at all.
Oh my gosh, you're delusional.
Okay, wait, hold on. There's a difference between messy and there's a difference
I just am
between
shocked that he's coming after you this whole time.
No,
I know. No, he is.
I may be messy, but I'm not clutter filled. And I think there's a distinction factor.
Well, yeah, you have less stuff for sure. And you recently got into collecting, so you are catching up to me. But
My collection's
you're
insane.
messy. I'm constantly cleaning up after you.
How would you talk to a husband? Like, how would we fix this issue between her and I?
I don't know.
Fix us.
See,
Fix us. You want me to be your therapist?
See my therapist.
Actually, that's so funny because I actually one time had a therapist tell me when I was decluttering her master bedroom closet, she was like, how am I a therapist, but you're my therapist right now.
Yeah, this is huge.
You know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I love that because essentially I am that too.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm talking to my clients through things and so I guess in the end, hey, I can fix your relationship too, you know?
I do feel like a cluttered house or cluttered areas can clutter your thinking, therefore clutter your relationships. It can trickle into other areas.
It definitely can. I mean, clutter is literally like, studies have been found that it produces extra cortisol levels. So yes, which causes
weight gain,
stress, anxiety, depression, you know, things like that. It is essential to declutter your home and your environment. I mean, it affects your sleep quality. It affects so much that I think people don't realize on a day-to-day basis. Yeah, so it's essential to do for
Where
sure.
Where do you see the business growing to? Like, what else do you want to implement into the business to grow the business?
Yeah, I mean, I think big. I see big things. Now, essentially, when I started my business, I never wanted to get rich. You know, like that is not what I want to do at all. But hey, if it comes, it comes. You know. But I do see like a team working underneath of me one day. I do see, you know, partnerships with, you know, different people and things like that. And I mean, I definitely see it growing and getting big. I just partnered with a company in Tampa.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm super excited about that. I'm kind of on the hunt for, you know, someone to be like a partner with me maybe.
Okay.
I knew when I was, you know, having my most success back in the Midwest that I needed that so badly.
Yeah.
What do you need though?
I needed more hands on deck. Like I was starting to become so overwhelmed with the amount of projects and, you know, things like that, that I probably would have kept scaling if I had more hands on deck.
Yeah.
But I did start to also feel myself kind of, because I was getting so overwhelmed and overworked, slipping back.
Okay.
Like more so on my back office part.
Okay.
But, you know, I mean, it was just hard and like pushing people out a month. Like people aren't wanting to always wait that long.
Oh,
you know?
Okay.
How are you advertising right now?
Social media.
Okay.
I mean, that's another thing, like that's been a challenge in my move is in the Midwest, the way I marketed is so different than the way I'm having to navigate and learn here.
Really?
Yeah.
How are you marketing over there?
I would say over there, social media. I feel like here is more in person. Like I gotta like.
Yeah.
It's older here.
It's definitely older here, right? Like I'm having to like print brochures and like,
oh wow,
you know, just more than, and like actually go out and meet like realtors and builders and like things like that and try to like get myself out of there. Where, I mean, in the Midwest, it was so easy to just market on the couch.
Yeah.
You know, like get my name out there. Like I had so many more people to like the Midwest was just so big on like supporting other small businesses. Like I do not really get that here.
Yeah.
I have not found that here.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not used to that because I am such a I want all businesses to win type of guy. I will like, you know, just because I want you to win too. I'm bumping your social media, you know?
Right.
And I just don't find the same here yet.
Yeah, I would concur with that because like we're from Fort Lauderdale too, and it is different here. It's older, and I feel like there's so many people. I'm a realtor as well, so there's so many people that are moving from other areas that are new. They're brand new here too. They don't know anybody. They don't know how to get connected, and that is something I feel like has been lacking in our area. That it is developing.
I've heard that. I've heard that it is developing here, and so you know, coming here was so great, and this and that. So I have been hearing that, and I hope that it does.
I think it will. I just think it's probably going to take a little bit of time.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot that my mind can start on with that you're not missing, but like that you should incorporate.
Yeah.
For example, I would have a couple of things. So if I were you, right, or if I was in the declutter business, not only would I have the declutter side of it, but like you could also partner with a therapist.
Yeah.
So that the clients can start getting involved with a therapist.
I love that idea.
Moms groups for sure.
Yeah. I'm in all the moms groups. I think I am in so many Florida groups. It's wild. Where like in the Midwest, I was a part of like 4, 5.
Wow.
But you know,
thing that you should start doing is also the systems behind it, incorporating systems as in like advertisement, videos. Posting on social media all the time. Running ads right now.
That's another thing here too. Is like running ads. You know that I never had to do in the Midwest, but I'm seeing that it's a big thing to do here. You know, so no, you're definitely right on track, and I do struggle with like social media.
What?
Like.
What do you think you struggle with on the social media side of things?
I think like I don't know how to like I guess like put my camera behind me and make a video, which sounds so silly. It sounds so silly, and I think to myself all the time like, why is something so simple so hard for me to understand? You know, and then like I'm not I'm gonna lie, like taking 4 hours to make a reel like just blows my mind. Like, or like, well, not 4 hours. It takes me 4 hours, okay? Because I don't know, you know. But like, I just am like, I don't have time to do this.
Yeah.
Like, why am I doing this? And like, I will. And what I love to do is the front of my business.
Yeah.
Like, so I will. I know, it's so bad. I can't wait to hire on my social media one day. Like, just please take my social media over so I can just do the front of my business, do what I love to do, you know. But yeah, I guess just like being creative behind a camera, I struggle with. But it's funny, I had a girlfriend of mine be like, B, you're so good on camera. And I'm like, that is not me.
But
like,
you'll get better as time progresses.
Yeah, and I hope so.
Especially being in a business that you run, I think social media is imperative to growth. And
oh, absolutely, it is, and I need to get like, you know, I need to overcome that for sure. But and I think too, like being a one-person show, I wear so many hats that it's just like
that's just another hat you have to wear.
Yeah, you know, and so like I'll focus on the hats the most that
you're good at.
That I'm good at.
Right, right.
You know, so I mean, I think maybe once I get more help and stuff like that, I can have the time to focus on that. But I need to do that like ASAP because I do know how important social media is. And so it's right there. It's on the forefront of my brain. Seriously.
One of the conversations we had with Trace, the young man that was here, is we're big on. The conversation was big on hiring other people who are good at their job to help you. Yeah. So hiring other people so that you don't waste your time on the editing side. So if Christina and I could ever advise in any way, shape, or form, if you get anything from this podcast, I would ASAP. I would hire somebody to run your social medias. I would have somebody follow you around with a camera, and I would have somebody working on the systems.
I know, but who follows you around on a camera? Who actually does that?
Could be
Is there people?
Yeah, no, there's people.
So there's people. So I do. Yeah. I walk around and go to stores that I work for. And I'll take videos I'll do about 4 hours of videos. Okay. And then we post once a day. So I capture the content under one day, and then from that content we edit it and post it out. But there's more than just taking videos. It's collecting data, emails, collecting phone numbers, advertisements, stuff like that. So it's not just like the editing side of things that I would advise you to do. Is start collecting emails. Start collecting.
Oh yeah, I do that.
Good.
Yeah, I definitely do that. Yeah, I have all of that. Yeah.
Well, that's wonderful.
That's a part of like all my back office stuff that I try to, you know, keep organized and do and
Awesome.
Okay, so you're keeping some records.
Oh yeah, girl. Like my back office, like
I'm sure it looks meticulous.
No. It's no.
Not yet.
Not your standard.
I can organize with my hands. You know, and I think of like very creative solutions and like I mean, I'm a master at like girl math.
Okay.
You know, and like I know what's gonna fit there and what's not gonna fit there and things like that. But organization in my brain is like chaos.
Okay.
I have to dump. I have to write down, and then I can take it from there, and then I can organize it. Okay. So my back office is organized. I don't want you guys to think that it's like a mess, but
I know it's just whatever your standard of mess is, which is we're gonna look at it and we're gonna like this is meticulous.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
You might, but to me, I'm like, man, I have to like brain dump first, and you know, there's levels to this. Where with my hands, I'm like, nope, that goes there. Nope, that goes there.
Yeah,
like,
you're quicker with sight and your hands.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where do you see yourself in 10 years with the business?
Yeah, I mean, I see a team under me in 10 years. Okay. I think no matter what, even if I did have a team under me, that I will always still dabble in it.
Right.
It's what I love to do. It's what makes me genuinely happy.
That's so
like when I'm not doing what I love to do, like I can feel myself get depressed.
Yeah.
It's so weird. But the second I'm on a job and the second like I'm putting things in order and I'm flipping through a color-coded closet or like whatever it is or something just fits so perfectly, like am I like on cloud nine?
Wow.
You know, it's
like your calling.
Yeah.
I believe that. I truly believe that. I love what I do. I pour my heart into everything that I do. I love my clients. Yeah. Like I build relationships, very great relationships with each and every one of my clients. Like, I mean, the reason my business was such a success in the Midwest was word of mouth.
Yeah.
You know, it was my clients just like
talking about you,
loving me. Yeah. Just naturally.
Yeah.
You know?
You made a big difference in their lives.
I did. And I mean, so when I first started, in order to build my portfolio, I did a couple jobs for free. And one lady reached out, and it was a garage, and she had unexpectedly lost her husband.
Oh, that's hard.
And she could not fathom going through any of it. And then on top of it, because it was building so much, I mean, I would find like 5 brand new hair dryers. I'm like, okay. But long story short, helping her go through the process. I mean, she was grieving in front of me. I mean, she was all the things.
Life changing. I think hiring you in a position like that, with like a customer in a position, it's life changing.
Well, and that's exactly what she said to me. My first job ever was, I told, this was life changing for me.
Wow.
And I walked away, and I was just like, this is it.
That's so cool.
I love that I was able to help this woman get through something that, you know, for years could she not, and she had a 3-car garage she couldn't even park in because it was just filled. You know. I know. And but I mean, they were building a house, and they had all their stuff in a storage unit, and unexpectedly did her husband pass, and so she had her nephews just move all this stuff into a garage. And she didn't want to go through it. She didn't want to go through it. She didn't want to touch it. She didn't want to nothing.
Wow.
And I understand that's so hard to do. So.
Your mom went through something similar.
Well, I mean, my dad didn't die suddenly. I mean, we did kind of know he was going, but it was pretty soon. It's like, first he has like...
It was within a year, I would say.
It was within a year.
Okay.
And then my mom built this entire life with my dad and us kids, and she lived in the house for... like 41 or 42 years, and all the years.
That's exactly.
It took us like 2 months to like we hired like 2 dumpsters to like throw stuff out. It's years of collection.
It is.
That kind of like it appears out of nowhere. Like where the hell did this stuff come from?
I mean, there was like teams of us helping. You know, like between us kids and our spouses and friends and neighbors.
And that's another reason why it's such a why like it's. You gotta declutter because you're essentially leaving it then for
family
your
and
children to deal with. You know, like
that's true.
You know, they don't want to deal with it. You know,
like that's what gets me. That's one thing that makes me want to develop the skills and mindset change that I need to, so that I don't become that for Angela, and I don't want him to become that, or my other kids. I don't want them to live in a like scarce mindset. So I have to do a lot of work within myself quickly, before I start passing on bad habits.
Well, that makes sense, and that's amazing. That's amazing that you think of doing that. There's I feel like a lot of people who just don't care, you know, and it's like,
for them to deal with.
Like I can't tell you how many, basements or storage rooms I've walked into, and they're like, my mom passed, and this is all from her house, and I'm like, what do we do with this stuff? You know, like, I don't even know what to almost do with it, you know. So I can only imagine, but that's awesome that you're doing that.
Oh, thank you.
A lot of people don't. So.
Well, thank you. And then what you were saying about like they have this room full of their parents' stuff and they don't know what to do with it, and sometimes they might feel the need to hold on to it. But he reminded me like, trust me, they're gone. They don't care if you throw this stuff away. Like, they don't need it, and they don't need you to need it.
I mean, I've even dealt with that, so I can't imagine what others deal with that. You know, my dad passed when I was 21. Today's his birthday.
Oh my gosh!
I couldn't believe it when I looked at the date. I'm like, okay, today's his birthday, but he passed when I was 21. And I took some of his clothes, I took his bedroom set, things like that. I just parted with his bedroom set. It's been, over 10 years. I just parted with his bedroom set when I moved here.
Oh my gosh.
So, I mean, I even brought his bed with me. That was one thing I was going to bring with me. I sold everything I had, but I still brought his bed. And then I had to part with it, you know? So, I mean, I can't imagine for other people who struggle worse than I do with belongings and stuff like that, you know? So, it's hard.
It is, it is hard.
Yeah, especially when it's unexpected, you know, and you don't have time to say goodbye. So if you guys wanted to reach out to her, we're going to leave all the links down below. This has been kind of a dive into clutter and how it affects businesses and like how it just affects marriages. Not only marriages, but like families and generational, you know, of families down the line, you know, living it for your kids. And it's, I struggle with it. It's something that we've struggled with, something that I want to get better at as a businessman, as a father, as a husband, as a son. So these are things that I really want to consider on in my life as well. But thank you guys for joining so much. Thank you, B, for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
It's been really amazing. If you guys can, please hit the like button. It helps us out tremendously. If you guys can, subscribe and leave a comment down below as to what jobs and what fields we should kind of get into next. But until next time, guys.
All right.
Cheers.
Bye.
Peace.